Welcome to Bleav In 76ers with your hosts, former 76ers point guard Eric Snow and two Sixers fanatics in Marcus and Teja Dash. Bleav In 76ers is presented by BetOnline.AG.
BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information from live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BLEAV50, that's BLEAV50, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Bleav In 76ers podcast. I'm Marcus Dash here with legendary point guard Eric Snow and my brother Teja Dash. Gentlemen, I think it's a new season now. 4-4, we're ready to rock.
Yep.
Back to zero.
You can change some things with winning games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I gotta say, last night at the Wizards game, there wasn't a lot of people there because it was Halloween. But I will say, majority of Sixers fans. I'm pretty sure I saw more 76ers fans in the building than I saw Wizards fans. But I believe Wizards were also the lowest. They're ranked 30th in the league in attendance so far in games this year. So
interesting.
Yeah, but yes.
They didn't sell out the Philly game
last night.
Yeah,
it looked dead, man.
It was dead.
No Halloween joke intended there.
That's interesting.
Oh.
I played. It's I'm so used to it selling out every game there because the last two guys I played with. So did I, with AI and LeBron, we only played in sellouts there.
Yeah, it's actually pretty surprising even for for a Sixer game.
Yeah, usually because Sixers fans usually fill that joint up.
Maybe it was the Halloween thing, Halloween weeknight.
Yeah, because usually you'll see a lot of kids and families. I didn't see that many kids there last night because of Halloween. Obviously,
I bet you that didn't stop the Cleveland-Cincinnati game from selling out.
True.
Oh no, because they can dress up there. That's the same thing. That one game a week is different.
Yeah. When we got to our seats, I looked just to see what the price of the tickets were in the rows in front of us and closer to the court. It was significantly cheaper than what I paid for the tickets. I was pretty pissed off. Never doing that again on a holiday. I'll wait till the hour before.
Gotcha.
Yep.
But let's get into it. So first topic, we kind of mentioned we're 500 now, 3-0 since our last show. And we were kind of, a little disgruntled about what we saw in that Raptors game. But after that show, we went on to beat the Raptors. And now are 500 and 3-1 on the road. So my question is, do you think everything is back on track or are we not there yet?
I wouldn't say either one. I just think that, we're winning games now. I think that, it always feels better and looks better when you win, but still things that we can work on and get better. I just think that, in order to be where we want to be and the expectations that came with this season, you don't want to see it sparingly. You want to see it more consistent. So I just believe that, hopefully we can carry this into being a more consistent and consistently good team. But I do think that will time will tell that more than right now. I think we lost some games, we won some games. So we don't need to play some more games to kind of see who we are and what we're going to be.
Yeah. Now let me ask you, follow, because you said something in there. Are you back to where you were as far as before game one, that level of?
No, I'm not there yet because I think that the things we need to kind of still work out and see are huge.
Yeah.
The defense has been good lately, but I don't know if that's going to be consistent. We still haven't had our best, our full unit beating really good teams.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't seen it. So we beat Washington, we beat Chicago. I believe Joel's never lost to them. Then they had some guys that ended up not playing that game. And then we beat Toronto the second time. It's hard to beat teams back to back. So I like that we got wins. Winning can disguise a lot of issues that you have.
Shortcomings, yeah.
So that's why I said time is going to tell. But I would say that, no, I'm slightly probably below where I was going into the season because I still have, questions.
Makes sense. Yeah, I don't think we're there yet. It's encouraging, but I do want to see us beat. I want to see us look good against better opponents. No offense to the Wizards or the Pacers. And I want to see us look good with Embiid because that's our team, right? It's cool that the small ball looks good, but we need to look good with our guys, and we haven't looked that great.
We can't play the same like that, but
totally different, right?
I guess that's the next topic.
I also want to see us dominate inferior opponents. Beating them is nice, but giving up these big leads, having them come back, and we actually predicted this with Washington. They made it a game kind of towards the end and got within single digits, within 6 at one point. Mm-hmm. And then we got it back up again. But I don't want. Keep your foot down, man. Just blow teams out. I want to see that. I'm tired of the letting teams back in it. But I will say too, we won our first third quarter. Huh? There you go.
Awesome. You needed that.
First third quarter since the Toronto series, man. Game 6.
Definitely needed that.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of how we won that game. We kind of just took over the third. It was the opposite. We took over the third quarter and slowly lost the lead the rest of the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you. I'm below where we started the season. Definitely higher than what I thought a week ago. But yeah, we have some things we definitely need to fix. Transition defense has gotten better. I think after that yesterday, I think we were ranked 10th. We went from last 10th, which is a huge jump. It's still early in the season, so one good game can put you in the top 10 in the category, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, some of our problems are still there. They were there a week ago, but it's hard to tell with all the different lineups we have every day.
Yeah, and it's also good we can we actually start to talk about positive things. Whereas last week we're talking about at what point it's going to be time to let Doc go, maybe go Cassell. And now we're getting away from that BS talk that a lot of Sixers fans are really harping on. That's good. That's a step in the right direction.
That's why we said it was premature when we were talking about it. It's way too early for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but we talked about it anyway.
Well, yeah, when the Sixers fans are harping on it and stuff. Another thing I noticed last night during that game, all the players were going up to Taj Gibson, the veteran on the Wizards, and dapping up before the game. Then after the game, Harden, I looked at Harden. Harden only went over to the Beal to dap him up before say goodbye, and he also went over to Taj Gibson, and that was it. Then he left. So a lot of respect for Taj Gibson on the Wizards.
And then Gibson went back there and tore his locker room up for the lack of effort.
But they did play together in OKC, right? Or was Taj come later?
Was Gibson on that OKC team? So I was trying to figure it out because I think they played against each other in college.
Played there, but he might have came later. I know he played there, but I think he might have came later.
Okay.
When James was gone.
They definitely had battles at Arizona State and USC, though, back in the day. So maybe that's where they go back to, the Pac-12 days.
Taj is a New York guy, right? Not a West Coast guy.
He went to USC, but
I think he's from East Coast guy.
Oh, okay.
Went to USC.
Oh. Yeah, maybe.
He went to high school in this looks like San Bernardino Valley, so that'd be kind of.
He might be a West Coast guy. I don't know.
Yeah, he might be.
And also interesting too, the 2 games without Embiid, which we're going to get to that. we went with the lineup that Teja said that he would like to see if you were to substitute on the 3-guard lineup. Melton, Harden, Maxey.
Yeah, I've been saying that. That's why I say you needed to see that lineup more.
Yeah.
I don't know if you need to start it, but you needed to see it more.
Mm-hmm.
Melton plays big, man. He plays bigger than his 6'2", whatever he is.
But you got those 3 ball handlers, and they can make plays, and they can score. They can hit threes. It just gives you a different dynamic. That's. I was just saying, like, we needed to do it. Like, I don't particularly care if that group starts, but you needed to see that group together more.
Mm-hmm.
And the teams that we play, the way they play and their size, allowed us to do that.
And his length really jumps out at you in person.
Now we play Boston. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can do that.
Yeah.
Real fast, they did not overlap at OKC. Taj went there in 16-17.
Okay.
Okay.
They've been in the same city for many years, so I'm sure they've crossed paths a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny, just going back to that real fast. Eric, I mean, like, I'm sure you had people that you never played with, right? But, like, being a veteran in the NBA for a long time, like, you are just in the same city with them when you play them a lot of.
I mean, you, like, most of the, it's different now because a lot of these kids, or not kids, but a lot of these players in the league, when they're younger and they're kids, know each other. There's so much stuff going on in these circuits and camps and all this stuff. So they know each other at such a young age and really get to know each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, spending a lot of time with each other. Whereas when we came up, it was like you meet some people in high school, and then, in college, there's some guys you play against, and then it becomes sort of a common conversation. But outside of my teammates or guys that I knew before, I spent more time, like, in the union meetings, getting to know some people. Like, you kind of meet them.
Okay.
Or some guys who live in the same hometown, you kind of work out together. You have, like, summer workouts with guys, and you kind of get to know people, like, outside of your teammates. Like, that's how a lot of the times it was done. But, you just didn't know a lot of these guys when they were younger.
Interesting.
So moving on, as we talked about the Embiid list lineup. So last night we were without Embiid. Sixers went to 2-0 without Embiid, while the Sixers are 2-4 with Embiid. So that was just some things that some people are saying online. And I see it as a different thing. In the past, when Embiid didn't play, that was like pretty much chalked up to a loss. It was like very seldom we win without Embiid, and so obviously we are a better team without Embiid on the floor, or with Embiid on the floor. But what do you guys make of these two separate records? So 2-0 without Embiid and 2-4 with Embiid. What do you guys make of that at this point in the season?
Well, I think obviously we have guys that can play up a position. So I think that the moves have addressed that and allowed us to do that. So I think that's more of a personnel thing that has kind of made us better in that way. Getting the guy like PJ to guard multiple positions, Melton guard multiple positions, Maxey playing better, having Niang and House and all those guys multiple positions. So, my Trez, and what I'm saying, like the personnel there has allowed us to kind of be able to do that. That being said, that's part of some of my still concern, because the way a lot of guys play when Joel doesn't play, they're not going to be able to play that same way with him. Mm-hmm. So that's something we're going to have to try to figure out how to do that. I don't know how Maxey, as good as he's shooting, as good as he's playing, I don't know if he's can be your leader in shot attempts with Joel. That's how you go from 44 to 14 the next game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's how that happens. And we see Tobias shots, being a roller coaster attempts.
Yep.
Yeah.
So who's going to make the sacrifice or is it going to be a different guy depending on the game? Because guys can play as well as they're playing now, but at the end of the day, there's only one guy that's been a back-to-back runner-up MVP on that team in the last 2 seasons. So he's going to get the bulk of the touches and should.
Now, Teja, what do you think of it? So there's the camp of Sixers fans who are upset, who are happy that we're 2-0 without Embiid, and there's some saying, "Oh, we're winning without Embiid." Like, I'm in a school that's happy that we're winning without Embiid because for the fact that in the years past we couldn't do that.
Well, I think it's interesting talking about Harris. He had 10 shots yesterday, which you'd think he'd take even more than that without Embiid, right? Yeah. But because it's double what his last one was, but that was way too low for him, right? We said he should be at I think we said 12 to 14 or 10 to 12 or something with Embiid. So 10 without him that's low too, again. So, I mean, weird. I think it's cool that we're definitely comfortable going small. I like that. That's great. I think it's definitely easier with one less guy on the court. One does tend to clog a lane now and again, and he has got the ball in his hands a lot. So with James and Embiid, you have 2 slow burn players who have the ball in their hands for a lot of the shot clock. So it's just harder to work out, and then it's going to take more time. Without Embiid, they go into a more run and gun offense, and they go to more of a faster pace, and they're better at transition defense getting it back. Is that because Embiid's enormous and doesn't move as fast, or because he's out of shape? He's not in shape yet. I don't know, but they definitely they're aware of it because I think even Harden said yesterday that he acknowledged it and said we have to figure out a way to still implement the faster pace with Embiid on the floor as well. So they're aware of it. That's a good thing. And now they just need to work on that. I don't know how they're going to do that. But yeah, overall, I like that, in case Embiid misses playoff games. I hope not. But if he does, we have a lineup that we can put in there that works, right? We're not like, what do we do now mode. So it's good that we have that. And whenever he does miss games, because we know he will, he's already missed 2. So we know we have a lineup that we can put in there. And this is that's James' comfort zone anyway, right? I mean, James is used to having this kind of lineup.
Did they announce if he's playing Wednesday night?
I don't think they have yet.
What, Embiid's status?
Yes.
No, I don't think they've said anything yet. It says what non-COVID illness is what they said yesterday.
Yeah, nothing yet. But it'd be interesting to see, right? One game. It's cool because we had Toronto with Embiid without him. We saw a difference. And if we have this one, it'd be Washington without Embiid and with him. So it'd be interesting to see the back-to-back differences of literally the same exact team, just add Embiid or take him out. So curious to see how it's probably harder for the other team to adjust too, because we played the exact same Toronto team twice in a row, but they didn't play the same 76ers team twice in a row, right? So Wizards, same thing. I mean, we'll probably play the same team, but if Embiid's out there, totally different.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the Toronto game, Maxey got hot, and Toronto didn't. Mm-hmm. They were missing shots. So I thought you had one of those games where a guy's, having that game, most likely you're going to win if you get some stops. And so I think that we defended better, and Toronto wasn't shooting as well. And then we just stayed on them. So I don't go in that particular game as much as who was on the court, as much as kind of like situations happen.
You're right, because our next highest scorer, Melton and Harris at 13. Like Harden had 11 that game. Like we did not.
Yeah, I think he just kind of like, he had it going, and they did, because whatchamacallit was struggling. So I don't know if he was injured or not, Fred, for Toronto. Like he looked like he could barely get up the court.
That was probably the worst game of his career. 0 of 11, 0 of 8 from 3, 1 point.
Ugh.
That's bad. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So I don't know if he played the next couple of games, because he looked like he was like injured or something. Like he was like slugging to get up the court.
Yeah.
Running in the screen. So you look at a situation like that, and he's not going to play like that anymore.
True.
You know, so.
It's interesting to see how our small ball worked really well with that Toronto lineup, actually.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where at one point I was laughing because Toronto was going big. They took out two of their guys and put in Precious Achua and they put in Boucher on the same court. And we actually didn't make a move. We're like, you know what? We're going to stay as is.
Because none of those guys hurt you on the block. They may hurt you on rebounding, but they're not going to give them to the ball. I mean, they're not going to give them the ball and say, hey, go ISO or post up to make them pay. They're not going to do it. So
we're really confident in our like mid-sized guys able to guard bigger guys.
Yeah, because they're not guarding. That's why I say it depends on who you're playing because I don't think they can guard Jimmy Butler like that. I don't think they can guard the Boston guys like that. They definitely won't do.
No, they definitely can't guard the Boston guys like that. We saw that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
Jimmy will be interesting because of Tucker, though.
But I'm just saying, you said the smaller guys doing it. Yes. Mm-hmm. But, if Jimmy's going to be on Tucker, then who's going to be on Bam? You know what I'm saying? So
that's true. What's interesting that even Vooch in Chicago, we were putting, when Embiid wasn't there, we were putting like Tobias on him.
Yes. Like, you can do that on him. He's a one mainly left shoulder guy. And his volume isn't that high.
No. And he was off from three, actually, more than anything.
So it's more the volume guys, because then you got to worry about foul trouble, too.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown aren't going anywhere. They're getting that ball the majority of the time. And if they have a matchup, they're going to get it every time.
Yeah. And can we just stop and say, is Maxey becoming one of the most elite, three-point shooters out there?
He's shooting it really well.
I mean, man,
it'd be interesting if he can keep that up.
I keep saying that, right? We said that going into the season. We can't see him doing that again, but
yeah, doing it for a season, he's shooting it he is shooting it well, but he's shooting some shots. And I tried to, I forgot it. The last time Joel played, maybe it was a Chicago game, and he took a quick three in transition, and you had to see Joel's body language. That's what the type of stuff I was talking about. We got to work it out. Joel ran the court, and by the time he got to the dots, he was jacking up a three, and he missed it. And it was sort of before you get back on defense. So I'm just that's the situation I'm talking about. When we start playing the really good teams or playoff ball or playoff-like game, and those quick shots don't go in, it can go the other way really quick. The way Maxey's playing, I think you got to let him go. But it's going to be interesting. He could have one of those games where he's hot and they going to him, and he could have another game where he can't make a shot and his minutes are cut. Mm-hmm. I just still think he's there with the team, but he's just shooting it and scoring it so well. You got to let him play, but 22 attempts or 20-plus attempts every game for your quote-unquote third option, Doc Rivers said?
He's been 20-plus 3 times this year.
Damn. What are we? We're 2-1 in those games?
We are 2-1 in those games.
And Joel
both Toronto games. So, you know what? Toronto, I guess we know who one of the guys who's going to just kill them is going to be, right? And he's hit multiple threes in every game, except for one.
Yeah, Toronto will play them different next one.
Yeah. He has 75. He has 75 points on.
Yeah, they'll play them different. They didn't, because they were doubling, and they were just playing them straight up,
Not the second time though.
Huh?
Second time they played him, there's no Joel. So at that point, they just couldn't guard him. He just couldn't miss that game anyway.
No, what I'm saying, but he was also just that's what I'm saying. In the NBA, if a guy's hot and he's hot from three and he's just pulling up, there's really no defense for that except double teaming him. Mm-hmm. Because you can't just foul him. It's really no defense for if you just pulling up from three. But to start the game, he's catching shoots or shots, and he's wide open. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like there's no one around. Like how many threes does he need to make for you to be like, hey, maybe we should get out there?
He's pulling off from deep though. Are they going to guard him all the way by the half court?
But that was later. I'm talking about the initial threes.
Oh yeah.
By then he started feeling it, so he started pulling up. But I'm just saying he was getting like corner threes.
Yeah. They're
sideline threes.
Soon enough, they're going to be done with that. They're going to have to stick on him at all times.
Yeah, that's especially So you have a guy that's on him, and the thing that hurt us in that Toronto game in game 1 hurt Toronto in game 2, the cross matchups. Mm-hmm. So you had certain guys that was trying to run to him, and that's how a lot of guys were getting, because you got a guy that's trying to guard him and a guy that's trying to guard James, and that's what I said. That's why I was looking at Fred, and I'm like, man, he can't get up the court. Like I thought something was really wrong with him. Mm-hmm. So I think that has something to do with them struggling defensively as well, and because they played him a lot of minutes.
Yeah,
and he looked like that the whole game.
Yeah. Well, they ended up the game.
He looked like he was in pain.
The game afterwards, he did not play.
Yes. I'm not surprised.
He didn't play, and they ended up blowing out the Hawks.
Did he play the game after that?
I think that's tonight.
Yeah, I told you he looked like he was.
He didn't play last night, and that game was Friday, so they had a 2-day break, and he didn't play.
Yeah, they actually play tomorrow, so they play tomorrow.
Wow.
But no, he didn't. Yeah, he didn't play.
Yeah.
Yeah, and last night that Wizards game, Maxey, I think it was third or fourth quarter. It was like top of the key, like he was right. He was on the logo and just nailed the three. It was so deep.
Man.
Yeah, those are the shots I'm concerned about. Because when they don't go in, then we're saying, "Hey, Joel, run back and protect the rim."
I know.
And most of those long shots go into long rebounds, and I'm just asking for a friend.
Yeah. He certainly liked it when he was on the bench watching Maxey hit 9 of them, though.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, no, I think he likes it. I'm just saying, like,
I know.
They're going in. I'm just saying when they don't go in and he's on the court, especially, say, for instance, he has to go in that game, and, you it's kind of hard. It's like taking a quick shot in the big. So taking a quick shot, deep three, they don't have to necessarily be the same. The deep three can be once you've run your offense and then you take it. Quick shots can really, really kill your transition defense, especially if that big is running the court and you just come and take a quick shot, or you take quick, before the team is set. And so that ball bounced the wrong way, that's a layup on the other end a lot.
It has been. Yeah. That's been one of our problems right there.
That's my point. It will be interesting to see how Washington plays against us.
Second time around? Yeah.
Because I don't think they played well. I know Wright is out. He had been playing well for them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he had been playing well for them. So I think they missed him a little bit.
And Porzingis had a really quiet 30 points last night. I was like, I looked up at one point, I was like, damn, he's got almost 30. Shoot.
Yeah, he's shooting step back fadeaways on 6'3" guy.
Yeah.
Just catch it 15 and 12 feet and turn and shoot. Don't even dribble.
Yeah.
One dribble, turn and shoot. Set a screen, turn, catch it, shoot it.
His range is crazy, too. It just looks less impressive than a Max because he's so friggin' tall. You're like, he shoots like it's nothing, man.
Well, he can wait a game to do that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how some of those guys bounce back. Kuzma didn't have a good game, so I'm curious to see if he has a bounce back game.
Beal, even though he ended up with 20+, didn't.
That's what I said. I didn't think they played well. That's
stupid turnovers, man.
They played well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, they did. They missed a lot of open threes, too.
Yeah, they did. A lot of open threes. So outside of the games have been played, so there's breaking news this week that happened. We kind of talked about this offseason that this was potentially going to happen. So the Sixers have been stripped of the second rounders for 2023 and 2024 because of our early free agent discussions, because we're the only ones doing it, I guess. Followed by that report, there was another report that the NBA and NBAPA are going to revisit the punishment for such discussions with free agents. So, guys, what are your thoughts on this punishment that we're getting?
Well, I always wondered how teams and sources can announce a signing on the first day of free agency. There you go. Like, I think we're guilty.
Denver announced
I personally think we're guilty, but I personally think
everyone is.
Everyone does it because it's if I'm an agent and I have a free agent on your team and a guy that's under contract on your team, I can happen to call you about my player that's under contract. And if the conversation dips into the free agent, that's technically illegal, right? Now, you telling me that don't happen? Come on, man. That's not new. I mean, they're doing it, and I guess it's only an issue when that guy signs.
Yeah. Everyone, there were like 6 teams talking to PJ Tucker. We just ended up with him.
Yeah, I mean,
Bucks were involved. The Heat, Heat doesn't count because I guess, but a bunch of teams wanted him.
Yeah, so I just, and all of these people, these reporters that are announcing it, they're talking to an agent. They're talking to someone from the team. Depends on which guy it is. You can tell whether they talk to the team or the player and the player's agent. Based on who's reporting it, you could do your research and kind of know who they kind of talk to. So I think the league is trying to do something and to watch it or cover it up, and that's why I think penalties have been more common. But I don't know how you clean it up. Like, I don't know how you clean it up to the point where it's not going to happen. I think if people are going to continue to do it, I think that they're going to continue to maybe wait, or they can continue to stop talking to your sources, because the sources are the ones that are out them.
Yeah.
And like I said, like it's agents, and they could be agents that have another client. Their client isn't getting signed. So it's just so many different things, different reasons and ways this can get out. I just don't know how they clean it up. I think the one thing about professional sports and basketball specifically that I know about is whatever rules the league put in, is people they hire people and get people to live in the gray area.
I'd love to hear how they judge the parameters on the punishments too. Like, what's 1 second rounder versus 2 second rounders? The conversations were longer. I don't.
Yeah, I think it was.
You guys flirted too hard. It
was probably more than one guy.
Yeah, I guess it was House and it was Tucker. They said.
Yeah.
Should be about,
just go by whatever they did in the past, but I think the multiple player.
I think it should go by the contract, right? Because what if it's 2 vet min guys, and then you got some other guy that signed for $200 million? The $200 million should be weighted higher, right? That's what I think. Like Brunson, for instance. Brunson's punishment for the Knicks should be worse than the Sixers, even though it was 2 players.
Why should it be punishment for Brunson? His daddy's on the staff. You think they didn't talk to his daddy?
I'm only saying that. No, I think that'd be BS.
I'm just saying, like, it's his father, and they have
they're investigating like him. Though,
like, it's his father, and they have a close relationship.
Can't talk to his dad about contract.
There's no way it wasn't a conversation.
If it were a company in stocks, would it be insider trading just because it's his dad? I think it still would be.
I don't know. Depends on, it also depends on how much money you make from it.
That's my point. Brunson's big money. What do House and Tucker equal? Like $12 million?
Yeah, but it's still a lot of money though. and the money I think is there, but I think it's also the outsized view of how it helps the team, to me, is the biggest factor. Other teams wanting PJ and people seeing him as a guy that the Sixers really, really needed and really, really wanted. Brunson going there. So it's almost like that guy's getting the guy and they're pulling him from another team for no compensation. That they say wanted him back. I think Miami wanted PJ back, didn't get him back. I think the Mavericks wanted Jalen back, but kind of didn't want to pay what the Knicks were willing to pay. Mm-hmm. With having Luka, you probably couldn't commit to a guy that's, essentially the same position.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It just kind of, I guess the thing that sucks too is that like they're having a meeting about maybe getting rid of the punishment altogether or the rule altogether. It's like, so what? Sixers are going to get the worst punishment before they abolish it. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm just, it's you almost have a grace period where talks can happen, and then you figure out whether the deals are going to be done. But I mean, I think the difference. One thing I think that can kind of help it is the NFL route, which a lot of people don't like. That is having free agency before the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's true.
Because during draft time is when free agency is discussed the most.
Yeah.
So what, a week before? So they talking about these drafts and these trades, and they're not talking about free agents?
Of course they are. Yeah. I mean, it's dumb.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how is that possible? Yeah. For them not to be, because free agency is a part of kind of who you draft.
Yeah, of course.
It all goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
I'm not going to draft this guy if I can re-sign this guy.
Yeah.
Or vice versa, really. I mean, either way, they're definitely tied together.
Are we going to lose this guy? Then we got to draft him. And you don't do research and have a phone call about that?
Mm-hmm.
I know. Yeah. It's like having teams be blind to it all.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So I think free agency before the draft can help a lot of that, because that's where all this conversation is happening. You got a trade opportunity at the draft to make a trade to bring Eric Gordon in. So we're not going to talk to his agent. If he's, somebody, and we're not going to talk to you think that talking to PJ Tucker's agent and getting a guarantee, and we got a chance to trade for Eric Gordon? How do you know not to make that trade? Because you already confirmed it with the agent.
Yeah.
Now, this is just me talking, throwing out a scenario.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'm sure it's happened.
I'm sure it happens.
Yeah, of course it does.
I don't think I don't know how they can really officially do their job and be good at it without doing that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why in some ways it makes sense to have the free agency before the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of Sixer fans think it's the NBA just taking another shot at the Sixers, because I Bleav someone made a point. It's kind of funny because I forgot this, that DeAndre Jordan was probably one of the first free agents picked up this offseason.
Yeah, he was within minutes.
And it's like, why aren't the Nuggets being investigated for picking up DeAndre Jordan?
Same thing happened.
Yeah.
There's no way you can come in as a professional and you have to look at NBA players as their own entity, their own corporation. There's no way you can have an offer for your corporation and make a decision within minutes unless there's a maximum contract in the place you want to be.
Yeah.
They call you and say at 12 a.m. or whatever it is, so we offer you the most we can offer you, and that's where you want to be. You like, Let's get the deal done. Let's work out the parameters. Deal done.
Yep.
That I can believe can happen right away. But you would be expecting that if that happens.
Yeah.
It's good. I mean, good luck. I don't know what they're going to agree to have this fixed or worked on, but
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes.
It's also too, what kind of investigation is this? Like, you don't have phone records. Well, how do you really prove that there was? Unless someone admitted it, which I doubt anyone did. So how do you really have enough to take 2 picks away? How much hard evidence do you have?
Hey, watch out for them sources, man.
Yeah. It's the
That's
leagues,
true.
man.
Them sources got sources other places too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if a source with the Sixers is, the source with, just say, the Magic.
But even if Sham said,
what I'm saying, so you got, I'm not calling out anybody's name.
No, you're wrong. I'm picking an example. James, any
a source with the Sixers and that same person got a source with the Magic. If he want to get information from the Magic, these aren't when you got sources, they aren't give relationships. They're give relationships. So when they're giving the source something, the source is giving them something.
What are you hearing type thing?
That's the part that we don't understand with these sources.
Mm-hmm.
The sources is giving something back to whoever they get their sources.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going both ways.
This was really apparent during the Harden trade talks. That was really obvious.
During the what?
During the Harden trade talks with Simmons. It was obvious, who was on what team and who was giving information out on whose behalf. It was man, this is a joke.
So this is, so you just, that's why I say you got to be careful with your sources, because sources give up information too.
Yeah. Be wary of those sources.
Sources said.
Yeah, per sources.
I never met sources, but I heard he has a lot of information.
Yeah, he's got a scoop on all 30 teams in the league.
Sources are dangerous, man.
All right, so last topic here before we get out of here. So tomorrow, as we talked about, it's rematch versus Washington. This time's at Philly. This game got moved up to a 6 p.m. start time because of the World Series, so it's going to be early action tomorrow night. What are the standout performers you're going to be watching for tomorrow night, and who do you guys have in this one?
Well, hopefully Joel plays, and he would stand out because we need it. And I think that Maxey continues to play well. I think James will play well. But I think this is a Tobias game. I'm going to give him a little plug here.
He's definitely due. That's for sure.
He'll play well, and he'll kind of be above his average. Hopefully, I'm right.
And game prediction as far as win-loss?
Oh, we win this game. They can't be.
You think it'll be closer or worse than last one?
It'll be closer. I think we win by under 10.
So a little transparency. Marcus and I both only missed one prop in a single game prop parlay with the Wizards Sixers game. We didn't talk about any of our bets beforehand. We missed the same one. We missed the Kuzma over in points, 16.
Oh, yeah.
Everything else we got, man.
I would have picked that though.
Yeah, it was
especially with us being small. Yeah, I would have picked that.
I mean, if the idiot didn't do a reverse dunk on a fast break and miss it, we would have been closer. But yeah, oh man, I was livid because I had Monte Morris assist too. So he passed. I was like, okay, assist and 2 points. I was like, you missed a reverse fast break dunk. What are you doing, man? Oh, no wonder Taj Gibson is freaking out to the team after the game, dude. Come on. So I think it all depends on Embiid's availability. Yeah, it's just a much different lineup, man. It's not one of those the same guys will shine every time. We have so many different guys that can score When two guys play really well, the other two just don't. It's a give and take every game with us. It makes it harder to call. If he plays, and I'll go lower on the other players and go higher on Embiid, especially if you're missing a game. He's going to want to get out there and just dominate. Yeah. But yeah, I'll probably still take the Beals over. Porzingis is over. Monte Morrison assists again. He's playing well this year. And then us, winning. I do think it'll be single digits win.
Yeah,
it's closer, probably within six or seven.
Yeah, the spread yesterday was 3.5 right before game time. So.
Oh, okay. Not
yesterday, not the. I don't know. They haven't. I don't think. I haven't seen.
They probably don't know with Embiid yet, so they don't want to put that out yet.
They're waiting on that. But I guess we'll see with your predictions then. So that does it for us. Thanks for tuning in to Bleav In 76ers podcast presented by BetOnline. We'll see you guys Friday. Well, yeah, Friday, and then we'll preview the Knicks and 76ers game Friday night.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, it's not in the Big Apple. It's back in Philly. So a little homestand for us.
Good. About time.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Later.